Hello, thank you for joining me on whichever platform that may be. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to Chef Dan's Cutting Truth, the show that brings you the recipe for New York Giants success. I am your host, Chef Dan, and this is quite the meal to dig into. Coming off of a Week 4 victory against the previously undefeated Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. New York Giants with a victory of 21-18. Giants defense was all over the Chargers. Granted, the Chargers came in with a hobbled offensive line, and then they lost their premier tackle in Joe Alt, and I believe they lost another backup as well. So it was definitely a bit of a gimme for the Giants defensive line, but we've seen this happen before, where you kind of hope that the Giants defensive line does what they're supposed to do, and they kind of don't. But this game, they did. The D-line combined for 21 QB pressures, and they got 2 interceptions. One by Andrew Phillips later on in the game to help get the Giants into the red zone to help them secure that 21 points. And the earlier one was in order to get us to 10 points. That was off of a batted pass. Dexter Lawrence with his first career interception ran it down to, I believe, the 3-yard line. We almost got the thick 6, but it didn't happen. And Abdul Carter, the Giants defensive line, once again, combined for like 21 quarterback pressures. Abdul Carter had about 5 or 6 pressures by himself. So this guy was on the hunt, constantly on the edge, moving. You know, you have a guy like Justin Herbert who he's a very strong mobile quarterback, but Abdul Carter was there majority of the time. And if it wasn't Abdul Carter, it was Kayvon Thibodeau. And if it wasn't Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns with the game-sealing sack in order to help us truly get this victory. On the offensive side, Jaxson Dart with his premier game finished the game with 13 of 20 passing completions, 111 yards in the air, 54 rush yards on the ground. He had 1 passing touchdown and 1 running touchdown. He also had Cam Scatterbull also convert.
Dude wipes. The leaves may be falling, and the dumps are calling. Dumpkin spice season is here.
On a 2-point conversion. So all in all, what we saw, what we wanted to happen actually happened. And that was the insertion of Jaxson Dart into the starting lineup gave juice not only to the offense, but to the defense as well. And so that was a beautiful sight to see, though. In Giants land, you can never be all the way too happy, because with this game, we did lose Malik Neighbors for the year to an ACL injury. It's going to be very, very tough moving forward because we don't have that number 1 option. This was something we were actually really excited to see, because the growth of Jaxson Dart would have been exponentially easier with a guy like Malik Neighbors on the field of play. But we don't get Malik for the rest of the year, but Jaxson Dart still has to move forward. This is part of the challenges. At least we know for sure we know for sure we have a franchise wide receiver. We're going to find out through the rest of this year without the franchise wide receiver if we have a franchise quarterback in Jaxson Dart. So we move on there from Week 4 all the way to Week 5 on the road versus the New Orleans Saints. And this one is going to be a bit of a tough game because we're facing New Orleans on the road. New Orleans isn't a gimme game. No game in the league is a gimme, especially with the Giants and the way we've started off the year. So in regards to the offense, in regards to our Giants offense versus the Saints defense, what I'm looking for as far as that recipe is, number 1, they are going to try and contain Jaxson Dart in the pocket, try and have him defeat them from the pocket. And if not, they're definitely going to test that hamstring. We saw Jaxson Dart rip off a lot of quarterback runs. Even, the first drive went 96 yards against the Chargers, went 96 yards down the field and rushed in for a touchdown. We saw a lot of design QB runs for Jaxson Dart, and when it wasn't there, he decided to run. They're going to test that hamstring, and they're going to test his physicality. We saw a lot of Jaxson Dart, choosing not to slide. If anything, he's falling forward. I understand he has that bravado, he has that will that want to, but you are an NFL quarterback. That means you are a commodity that cannot be damaged too much. You're going to have to learn to slide. He also took a lot of sacks versus the Chargers, and that was him having to learn whether to, either run, check down, or throw it away. He's going to have to learn ways to, just get rid of the ball when it isn't there. So these are the type of growing pains that the Saints are going to test Jaxson Dart on, because we saw it with I believe 6 sacks taken. Even though, not every sack is going to be on him, they're seeing that he doesn't have a propensity to throw away the football. And with him running, it's like, okay, he's inviting the contact. So the Saints are not going to respect our run game, and they're going to be extra physical with Dart. Dart is going to have to learn to throw it away, and also the wide...
That chili cheeseburger has your guts bubbling, and a stanktastic dookie is about to destroy any nostril in a 1,000-foot radius. But the worst part is the embarrassment of innocent bystanders smelling your bathroom atrocity. If only there was another way. Dude bombs to the rescue. Drop your deuce. Stroll out of the bathroom with confidence. Walk around like your shish tea don't stank, literally.
Dude wipes are available at thousands of retail stores across the country. Next time you make a grocery run, make a detour to the TP aisle and stock up on Dude wipes. It's your last chance to take 10% off the entire Dude wipes lineup. Use code FRESH10 on your next order. Dude wipes and the Sports Jedi Network channel, wiping the competition clean.
Receiver combination is going to be very, very interesting, because we no longer have Malik Neighbors. Darius Slayton is going to move up to our number 1. What is going to be the rapport between Jaxson Dart and Wan'Dale Robinson? And I'm hoping we can see some, if not Jalen Hyatt, some little Jordan Humphreys, because that was the guy that we saw throughout the preseason that Jaxson Dart had some connectivity with throughout the preseason. And also we've seen little Jordan Humphreys be an available wide receiver throughout the regular season and have some good showings when he was with the Denver Broncos in Bo Nix's first year. So if little Jordan Humphreys can be a helpful wide receiver for us, if not, then I'm looking for Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson to become best friends with Jaxson Dart. That's what we're going to need. Over on the defensive line, the Giants defense is going to have to find a way to contain Spencer Rattler within the pocket and get a sack from there, because you don't want this kid to become mobile. I've seen a couple of his runs here and there, even though the Saints haven't gotten off a victory yet. The Saints, Spencer Rattler has an ability to throw on the run, and he's had some seasoning here and there throughout throughout his tenure in the NFL. So we're not playing a complete rookie. This kid is getting more and more comfortable over in the Saints as far as with Kellen Moore and what they're doing. So looking for him to be contained through the Giants defensive line. And also the Giants defense has to be extra physical with Alvin Kamara, because this guy is a consistent back. He is a guy that's constantly going to get his. He knows ways to just keep moving forward, and he has that forward mobility. It's not like Cam Scatterable, but he knows how to move through contact. Giants are going to have to be extra physical. So that's the recipe. Hopefully the Giants can squeak out a win here, keep the ball rolling, move on to 2-0 with Jaxson Dart. Get to 2-3, get things rolling. You can get some momentum, build some momentum moving forward, because this game against the Saints is unfortunately going to be the only break we get into the schedule, because after that it gets tougher with the Broncos. We're going to face the Eagles twice somewhere along the way, and I believe we're facing the 49ers or something like that. I have to recheck the schedule, but this schedule is not very friendly to us, so we have to get it where we can get it. Hopefully the Giants can squeak out, keep the momentum going, get this victory. We move on to 2-0 in the Jaxson Dart start era. Once again, this is Chef Dan's Cutting Truth. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's go Big Blue.